yourself
Mhm.
or just curious about how this all works.
Yeah.
Think of this as kind of a peek behind the curtain of success algorithms.
Yeah, I think what's really fascinating about this topic is how it brings together creativity and marketing
Yeah,
in the digital age.
totally.
Like a book, it might be this, beautiful work of art,
Right.
but when it's on Amazon, it's a product.
Yeah.
It's competing for attention.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah.
It's like this whole hidden layer of strategy
Mm-hmm.
that most readers probably don't even realize is there.
Right.
So let's start with the basics.
Okay.
Why are reviews so important on Amazon?
Okay.
And how do they play into the platform's algorithms?
So Amazon's algorithm, it's designed to favor books that have more reviews and better ratings.
Okay,
Basically, more reviews usually means more visibility
gotcha.
in search results, and you're more likely to be recommended to new readers.
So more reviews, more visibility.
Yeah.
Which in turn leads to more sales.
Exactly.
Makes sense from a marketing standpoint, but what about the psychology of it?
Right?
Why do reviews have such a strong influence on readers?
I think it's that social proof thing.
Oh, interesting.
When you see all these other people are raving about a book,
Yeah.
it makes you trust it more
Yeah,
and feel like, okay, other people like this, so it must be good.
right.
It's kind of like that everyone else is doing it mentality.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
It's like when you're looking at restaurants online
Exactly.
and you see one that has a ton of great reviews
Mhm.
and another one that only has 3.
Right.
You just automatically assume the one with more reviews is better,
Exactly.
even if you haven't actually tried either of them.
Yeah.
Have you ever felt influenced by online reviews when you're making a decision?
Oh, all the time.
Yeah.
Especially for books,
Right.
because you're investing so much time.
Yeah.
A good review can really convince you that, okay, this book is worth my time.
I'm Vince.
But
yeah.
the source really emphasizes this.
Okay.
The foundation for getting those good reviews.
Mm-hmm.
It all comes down to the book itself.
Oh.
It has to be good.
So no amount of marketing magic
Right.
can make up for a bad reading experience.
Exactly. If people actually enjoy your book,
Uh-huh.
they're way more likely to leave a good review
Right.
and recommend it to others.
Simple as that.
Yeah.
The source also talks about presentation, though. So having professional formatting and cover design,
Right.
why is that so important?
Mm-hmm. I think of it like first impressions.
Okay.
A well-designed cover,
Uh-huh.
a professionally formatted interior.
Yeah.
It shows readers that you take your work seriously.
Right.
But on the other hand,
Yeah.
a bad cover
Mm-hmm.
or a book full of typos,
Right.
it can give people a negative impression
Yeah.
before they even start reading.
It's like judging a restaurant
Exactly.
by its ambiance.
Yeah.
If it looks dingy,
Mm-hmm.
you're probably not going to have a good meal,
Right.
even if the food is good.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about leveraging your existing networks.
Okay.
The source says start with friends, family,
Mm-hmm.
online writing communities.
Yeah.
What's your take on that?
I think it's a great way to get those first few reviews, especially when you're just starting out.
Yeah.
Friends and family can give you really valuable feedback.
Yeah.
And those early reviews can
Mm.
help boost your visibility.
It's like getting that first push
Yeah.
to get the swing going.
Exactly.
But there's a right way and a wrong way to go about this, right?
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
You have to be transparent
Uh,
and encourage honest reviews. You
Yeah.
don't want your friends and family to feel pressured to leave a glowing review
Yeah.
if they didn't actually like the book.
Of course. Right.
Authenticity is key.
So how do you balance getting support from your network,
Mm-hmm.
but also making sure you're getting honest feedback?
That's a good question.
What about you?
What's your experience been?
I think clear communication is important.
Okay.
Just let people know that you value their honest opinions,
Uh-huh.
even if they're not all positive.
Right.
What do you think?
Yeah.
Have you ever felt that internal struggle when you're reviewing a friend's work?
Oh, totally.
You know?
Yeah, it's tough.
It's hard.
What about you listening in?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on this?
Mm-hmm.
Have you been in that situation?
Yeah.
Tell us how you approached it.
Share your experiences in the comments.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've covered authenticity,
Mm-hmm.
leveraging your existing network.
Right.
Now, what about these online writing communities?
Oh, yeah.
What role do they play in getting those initial reviews?
They're super valuable. They
Yeah.
give you a place to connect with other writers,
Uh-huh.
share your work, get feedback,
Yeah.
and even exchange reviews.
Right.
It's all about building those relationships
Yeah.
and supporting each other.
Like a rising tide lifts all boats.
Exactly, but you gotta approach these communities with a genuine desire to connect
Uh-huh.
and contribute.
Right.
Don't just use them to get reviews.
Totally.
You know what I mean?
It's all about fostering genuine connections,
Yeah,
contributing to the community.
exactly.
So we've talked about personal networks, online communities.
Right.
What about being more proactive
Yeah.
in actually requesting reviews?
Okay.
The source really emphasizes having a review request strategy. And that's key.
Okay.
You can't just hope reviews will appear.
Right.
You have to be proactive.
Okay.
Simple but effective way is just to include a polite request at the end of your book.
Oh, okay.
Thank readers for their time
Right.
and encourage them to leave a review if
Yeah.
they enjoyed it.
Like planting a little seed in the reader's mind.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey,
Yeah.
if you liked this,
Right.
spread the word.
And Amazon actually has this built-in feature
Oh, cool.
where you can send automated review requests
Okay.
after someone buys your book.
That's handy.
Yeah, it takes out some of the guesswork.
Yeah.
And don't forget about email lists.
Oh, right.
If you have one,
Mm-hmm.
use it.
Yeah.
Thank readers for their support.
Right.
Remind them that leaving a review is a great way to help authors.
Yeah. So we've got direct requests at the end of the book, automated Amazon requests,
Right.
and email nudges.
Yep.
It's about hitting them from all angles. It's exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's get into something that can be a little bit controversial.
Okay.
Offering free or discounted books
Yeah.
in exchange for honest reviews.
That's a common tactic, and it can be super effective, but you have to do it ethically
Right.
and transparently.
Ethical review gathering.
Yes.
I like that.
Yeah.
What are some of the strategies there?
One popular method is through KDP Select.
Okay.
Kindle Direct Publishing,
Mm-hmm.
authors can use that to offer their ebooks for free
Right.
or at a discount
Okay.
for a limited time.
So it's a win-win.
Yeah.
Readers get a good deal, and authors are more likely to get reviews.
Exactly.
There are also book promotion websites,
Oh, yeah.
like BookBub.
Yeah.
I've seen those ads.
They have huge reach.
Yeah, they do.
But keep in mind, some platforms charge a fee.
Right.
So authors really need to weigh
Yeah.
the costs and benefits.
That's all about making smart decisions
Yeah.
based on your budget and your
Right.
goals.
Exactly.
Now, the source also talks about engaging with readers beyond just asking for reviews,
Yes.
like fostering these genuine connections.
Yeah.
I'm curious, how do you do that?
Well, it starts with responding to reviews,
Okay.
especially the positive ones,
Uh-huh.
thanking readers for their time.
Right.
It shows that you value their engagement.
Yeah.
And it might even encourage other people to leave reviews.
Makes sense.
And then social media.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
a big one.
Okay.
Encourage your followers to share their thoughts,
Mm-hmm.
create polls and discussions,
Yeah.
offer behind-the-scenes peeks into your writing process.
So it's about building a community
Exactly.
around your work
Mm-hmm.
and not just treating readers like passive consumers.
Right.
It's like you're inviting them into your world.
Exactly. And that's what builds those connections and
Yeah.
loyalty.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Uh-huh.
we're going to take a quick pause here. We'll be back with even more strategies in part 2.
Sounds good. Welcome back to our deep dive into Amazon book reviews.
So we've covered a lot of ground.
We have.
We talked about the importance of reviews, making sure those early reviews are authentic.
Right.
Now I want to get into some more advanced strategies
Okay.
for boosting those reviews.
Right.
The source mentioned something called giveaway strategies.
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious to hear your take on this.
Giveaways can be really effective
Okay.
for generating buzz and attracting new readers.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about creating excitement
Uh-huh.
and offering something valuable
Okay.
in exchange for engagement.
So it's not just about giving away free books.
Not necessarily. I
Yeah.
mean, free copies are a common tactic,
Right.
but you can get creative.
Mm-hmm.
Think about what your target audience would actually want.
Okay.
So, for example, let's say you wrote a cookbook.
Okay.
You could give away a set of kitchen gadgets
Oh, that's a good idea.
or a gift certificate to a gourmet food store,
Right.
something related.
It's about aligning the giveaway
Yeah,
with your book's theme
exactly.
and offering something that's actually
Oh,
appealing
right.
to your ideal reader.
Exactly. And if you tie the giveaway to a review request,
Oh, okay.
you can encourage people to leave their thoughts on Amazon.
So it's a win-win.
Exactly.
Readers get something cool.
Mm-hmm.
Authors increase their chances of getting those reviews.
Yep. You ever participated in a book giveaway?
I have.
Either as an author or a reader.
Yeah, as a reader, I have.
Yeah.
I love a good giveaway.
We'd love to hear about your experiences down in the comments.
Okay, so another strategy the source talks about is cross-promotion.
Yeah.
This is where you're collaborating with other authors
right.
to kind of expand your reach.
Exactly.
It seems like a smart way to tap into new audiences.
It is.
How does this work in practice?
So let's say you've written a mystery novel. You could partner with another author in the same genre, or maybe someone writing psychological thrillers.
Right.
You could bundle your books together as a giveaway prize, cross-promote each other on social media, or even do guest blog posts
Oh, that's a good idea.
on each other's websites.
So it's like creating this network of support and leveraging each other's strengths.
Exactly. It's especially helpful for authors who are just starting out, trying to build their readership.
Now, the source also mentions using Amazon's Author Central page.
Yeah, that's a good one.
What is that exactly?
Oh, okay.
So why is it so important?
Author Central is this amazing tool that I think a lot of authors overlook. It's basically your own little space on Amazon where you can, showcase your bio, connect with readers, promote your books. It's like a mini website.
Oh, that's cool.
Within Amazon.
So it's a way to create that professional author presence.
Yeah.
And let readers kind of get a glimpse into your world.
Exactly. You can have a compelling bio, photos, videos, links to your social media, even editorial reviews.
So it's like a central hub
Yeah.
where readers can find you and connect.
It is like building your own little corner
I like that.
of the Amazon universe.
Building your own little corner of Amazon.
Yeah.
And speaking of building,
Right.
the source emphasizes brand consistency.
Yeah, that's crucial.
What does that even mean for an author?
It's about having a consistent image across all platforms. So think about your target audience, your genre, the overall tone and style.
Yeah.
Your book covers website, social media.
Okay.
It should all align with your brand.
It's like creating a visual language
Yeah.
that represents your author brand.
Exactly. It builds trust
Right.
and recognition.
Makes sense.
When readers see your brand consistently, they know what to expect.
Speaking of consistency, let's talk about a feature I'm really interested in.
Okay.
Amazon's A+ content.
Oh, yeah. A+ content is great.
What is it?
Okay.
So
And how can authors use it?
it's a way to enhance your product detail page
Okay.
with all sorts of rich media, images, videos, comparison charts.
Okay.
It helps you tell your book's story better
Yeah.
and highlight its key features.
So it's like taking your book's Amazon page to the next level.
Exactly. You can showcase good reviews from other platforms.
Oh, cool.
Like Goodreads or book blogs.
Okay.
You can have visually appealing sections that highlight key takeaways from the book. You can even give readers a glimpse into your writing process.
Oh, wow.
Have you ever noticed A+ content when you're browsing for books?
I definitely have.
Yeah,
I think it makes a big difference
it does.
in grabbing the reader's attention. I'm more likely to click on a book if it has nice visuals and a well-crafted A+ content section. It's all about making your book stand out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
In a crowded marketplace.
Yeah.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit
All right.
and talk about Amazon Live,
Okay.
which I have to admit sounds pretty cool.
It is really cool.
With it.
So it's a live streaming platform
Okay,
specifically for authors.
gotcha.
It lets you connect with readers in real time.
Wow.
Showcase your book, answer questions, offer deals.
It's like having a virtual book signing.
It is. What do you think?
Yeah.
Have you ever participated in one?
I haven't yet.
Either as a viewer or a host?
I haven't.
It's a great way to build excitement,
Yeah.
generate buzz, and even encourage people to buy your book and leave reviews.
Right on the spot.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And remember, what works for one author might not work for another.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
It's about experimenting
Right.
and finding what resonates.
Finding what works for you.
With your audience.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Sorry. That. We've covered a lot of ground in this section. Before we move on to the final part,
Okay.
any thoughts on which of these strategies stand out to you?
Yeah.
Share your takeaways in the comments.
Absolutely.
And we are back for the final part of our deep dive into Amazon book reviews.
It's been quite the journey.
It has.
I hope everyone listening is feeling ready to tackle those first 100 reviews.
Yeah, absolutely.
And beyond.
So as we wrap things up,
Are
I'd
they-
love to hear what stood out to you. What were some of your key takeaways?
You know, I think one of the biggest things for me is just the importance of patience and persistence.
Okay.
Building a successful author platform, it takes time and effort.
It doesn't happen overnight.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Right.
So don't get discouraged if you don't see results right away.
Right.
Just keep using the strategies we've talked about, and you'll start to see those reviews coming in.
Yeah.
It's all about playing the long game.
Exactly. Consistency is key.
Yeah.
Whether it's engaging with readers or putting out great work, you got to keep...
Another thing that really resonated with me was the importance of authenticity.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, readers can tell when something's fake.
Right.
You got to be genuine
Yeah.
in your interactions with readers.
Whether you're asking for reviews
Right.
or responding to feedback or engaging on social media.
It's about building those genuine connections.
Yeah.
Not trying to game the system.
Exactly.
And finally, don't be afraid to experiment. Find what works for you.
Right.
The things we've talked about.
Yeah.
They're just a starting point.
Jumping off point.
Adapt them to your needs.
Right.
Try new things. Think outside the box.
Exactly. Every author's journey is different.
Yeah.
It's about finding your own path and a platform that reflects your voice. And, you know, we focused a lot on these tactical approaches today, but I think it's important to remember that building a loyal readership goes beyond algorithms and marketing.
It's about connecting with readers on a deeper level.
What do you think about that? How do you approach building those genuine connections?
Yeah.
What strategies have worked for you? Tell us in the comments.
We'd love to hear your thoughts.
So, as you're going through this journey of self-publishing, remember to focus on those meaningful connections with your readers.
It's all about the readers.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into Amazon book reviews.
We hope you got something out of it.
And remember, the journey of an author is a constant learning experience.
It is.
Embrace the challenges.
Right.
Celebrate the wins. And never stop creating.
Never stop writing.
Until next time.
Yeah.
Happy writing.
And happy reading.
And happy reading, everyone. Welcome back to the Deep Dive. You know, we always get tons of questions about turning a single book idea into a series, so today we're diving into that.
Yeah, sounds fun.
We're checking out this guide, How to Turn Your Book Idea into a Viral Series by Mafala Media Publications.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that one.
It's got tips for everyone, whether you've written a bunch of books or just starting out. So get ready, because we're going to unlock those secrets to literary success.
Okay, so first things first, right?
Yeah.
Book series, they're interesting because they're good for readers and authors both. Readers get more stories with characters and worlds that they already love.
Right, and as an author, you get to build up this fan base.
Yes, exactly.
You get way more exposure, and your sales can really grow over time, especially if you have a few books out.
And it's not just the authors. Publishers really like them too. They get consistent content. They get the sustained interest.
It's like that snowball effect. Each book kind of builds on the one before it.
Yeah, definitely.
But before we get ahead of ourselves, how do we even pick the right genre for a series that could go viral?
Okay, so not every genre is going to work as a multi-book saga, right?
Okay, yeah, I get that.
This guide has a few that do really well in today's market.
Okay, so what are they talking about?
YA is a big one. It gets at those universal themes, growing up, relationships, finding your place, all that.
So you're saying no matter how old we are, we can connect with those coming-of-age stories.
Yeah, and it makes sense that people want to keep reading to see how the characters grow over multiple books.
I can definitely see that.
Yeah.
What about fantasy and science fiction? Do they have that same potential to, like, go viral?
Oh, totally. I mean, think about it. In those genres, you can create whole worlds. It's perfect for escapism.
Yeah.
And those stories can stretch out over lots of books.
Yeah, the world building alone could keep a series going.
For sure.
Okay, now what about thriller and mystery? Do those have the same kind of draw?
No doubt. Those series, they thrive on those crazy plot twists. The stakes get higher and higher.
And of course, you can't forget those cliffhangers.
Exactly. It's like a puzzle spread out over a bunch of books, and you just gotta know what happens.
Oh, man. Talking about cliffhangers, I still haven't gotten over insert popular book series with a cliffhanger ending.
Yeah.
But we can't forget about romance.
Oh, right, yeah.
Love stories are so universal, right?
Right.
Series in that genre often give you the chance to see the characters' relationships change over time. What's your take on that? Have you ever gotten sucked into a series because of the romance?
Yeah, I think engaging the reader is really important, and connecting with the character's journey is a big part of that.
Yeah, definitely.
While we're talking about genres that could go viral, we can't leave out self-help and business.
Oh, okay, yeah.
They give practical advice and tools for self-improvement, which readers are always looking for.
Right. It's all about giving them something valuable, something that makes them want to keep coming back for more.
Exactly.
So it all comes back to choosing the right genre.
Right.
You got to understand what's trending in the market and find that perfect spot where your book idea fits in with genres that have a history of doing well.
For sure. So we've got the genre figured out. Now let's get into the real meat of it. Structuring your series so it has the biggest impact. This is where this guide really shines. It gives you a plan to build a great story over a bunch of books.
Okay, structuring a whole series, that sounds kind of scary. Where do we even start?
Well, the guide, it really pushes having a solid foundation. You got to figure out that big overarching story that runs through all the books. It's the backbone of your story, you know?
So it's like you're weaving this huge tapestry and each little thread makes this big complicated picture.
Exactly. You need that big story arc to keep readers hooked for the whole series. It could be this epic battle, good versus evil, or a character who changes in a huge way, or some mystery that takes several books to solve.
I get the big picture, but how do you balance that with each book having its own plot?
That's where those episodic storylines come in. Each book needs its own story, a beginning, a middle, and an end. Think of them like chapters in the bigger story.
So each book feels complete on its own, but it's still moving the whole series forward.
Exactly. And to keep readers really wanting more, the guide suggests using those cliffhangers. Ending a book with unresolved tension just makes them desperate to see what happens next.
Cliffhangers are awesome. But let's not forget world building and character development, especially in genres like fantasy or sci-fi.
Right. Consistency is key when you're world building, especially in those genres. You need those detailed rules, the geography, the lore. It all has to feel real.
Like if there's magic in your fantasy world, it can't just be unlimited power.
Yeah, gotta have limitations, consequences, otherwise the world doesn't feel real.
It's about creating a world that's so viable, it feels like you can just step right in.
Totally.
Now, how important are characters when you're structuring a series?
If you're writing something that's not genre fiction, having characters that grow throughout the series is crucial. They gotta learn and change from, think about Elizabeth Bennet from Pride and Prejudice. She totally changes because of all the stuff she goes through.
Readers really latch onto those changes. It makes the characters feel real.
Speaking of readers engaged, let's switch gears to marketing. How do we get those books seen? What is it about that?
It all comes down to having a great launch strategy.
Yeah.
You got to get people excited even before the first book is out. Pre-orders are great for generating buzz.
So like offering signed copies or extra chapters to people who pre-order.
Yeah, those kinds of things can really work. And don't forget about social media, teasers, behind-the-scenes stuff. Give readers a peek into that world you made. It's like, think about how some authors use Instagram to show character sketches or share snippets of dialogue.
It's all about pulling back the curtain and letting readers in a little. Yep. And branding is so important. A good logo, consistent colors, a catchy tagline, these can really help your series stand out.
Yeah, it's like creating a visual signature that people recognize right away. But once the book's out there, how do you keep that momentum going?
Reader reviews. Those positive reviews are so powerful, especially on sites like Amazon and Goodreads.
They're like little recommendations from people who share your...
Exactly. And never underestimate word of mouth. Encourage readers, tell their friends, and make spaces where they can talk about your books, book club, online forums, stuff like that.
It's like a big virtual book club.
For sure.
So once you've got a series going, how do you keep those readers coming back for more?
Consistency. That's what the guide stresses. Set a release schedule and stick to it. Quarterly, every 6 months, yearly, whatever works for you.
It's like a train running on time. Readers know when to the next part of the journey.
Exactly. And talking to your readers directly can make a big difference. Respond to their comments, answer their questions. Shows you care,
It's about making readers feel like they're a part of the process.
Right. As a series gets more popular, think stuff like audiobooks or even merchandise. Those things can broaden reach.
It's all about creating a whole experience around the books.
Totally. It helps you stay organized, too.
Makes sense. It's like readers know what to expect.
Yeah.
How else can authors connect with their readers, aside from just putting books out regularly?
Talking to them directly can really make a difference. Answering their questions, responding to their comments, it shows you're listening.
Like a two-way conversation instead of just talking at them.
Right. And once the series gets going, you might want to think about things like audiobooks.
Oh, yeah. Good point.
It's a good way to reach people who like listening to their books.
For sure.
And you could even think about merchandise, character-themed stuff, maybe special edition covers, things like that. It's a nice way to give back to your fans.
That's like building a whole world around the books, not just the story itself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, a series lives or dies by its stories.
Right, of course.
What's the guide's final advice for people who want to write a series?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering.
It says don't have your own vision. Write what you're passionate about, Those stories that just keep you up at night thinking about them, that passion, it'll show, and readers will connect with it.
So it's about finding that thing that makes your series unique.
Yeah, exactly.
So turning a book idea into a viral series, it takes work. You got to plan, you got to be dedicated, and you got to really connect with your readers.
Definitely. But if you do it, bring that creativity, it can be so rewarding. And the biggest thing is just to start.
This deep dive has given you the map. Now grab a pen and paper or open up that laptop and start writing. What stories are waiting to be told? What worlds are you going to build? We want to see what you come up with. Happy writing, everyone. First thing they suggest is looking at your content, looking at your content that's already there, and they say, what are the topics that are really getting people talking? Which ones are getting the most comments, the most shares?
Yeah, you've already got a built-in audience. You know what they're interested in.
Exactly.
That's valuable information.
Yeah. And they're saying those popular posts are like gold mines.
They are.
And then they talk about how you can identify themes. And those can actually become the core message of your book.
Exactly. And the way it's laid out is like, it helps you pull out those themes that maybe you didn't even realize were there.
It's like threads in your writing. This example of a self-improvement blog. And they're like, oh, you can have chapters on mindset habits, personal growth.
It's a natural progression,
Yeah, and those are the things people are already coming to your blog for.
Right. And then you can take it deeper in the book format.
Oh, that's interesting.
So it's not just like a rehash of your blog post. It's like,
so you're giving people something new.
Yeah, you got to give them something new.
So they're not just like, oh, I've read this already.
Exactly. Like maybe you share some personal stories that you haven't shared before.
Oh, I like that.
Or you include some practical exercises, worksheets, things you actually use. Or even think about getting like a big name in your field to write the foreword.
Ooh, that would be cool.
How cool would that be?
So you're really making it this like insider, behind the scenes kind of?
Yeah, exactly. Like you're getting this exclusive content.
Okay, so what do you think, for our listeners out there,
Yeah.
what do you think in terms of like, have you ever thought about turning your blog into a book?
It's a good question. I think a lot of people have probably at least considered it.
Yeah.
But have you really sat down and thought about, is there something there?
Right.
Is there a story there that you could tell that would fill a whole book?
Yeah. Tell us in the comments.
Yeah, let us know.
What do you think?
What do you think?
I mean, obviously, we're not going to go into like self-publishing versus traditional publishing right now.
Right. We'll get to that.
We'll get into all that. But just the idea itself.
Yeah, just the basic idea.
Is there a book in your blog?
Yeah, I think while you guys are thinking about that, let's talk about another key aspect, which is marketing.
Okay, yeah.
Because as a blogger, you have this huge advantage.
You've already got the audience.
Yeah.
You've already got a built-in audience.
Okay, so you're already ahead of the game.
You're way ahead of the game.
Yeah. So how do we use that to our advantage?
The guide talks about a few different things, like sharing sneak peeks of the book on your blog.
Okay.
Behind-the-scenes stuff.
Okay.
Offering pre-order incentives.
Oh, that's smart.
Really building that anticipation.
Getting people excited.
Exactly.
Yeah, I bet a lot of our listeners are already familiar with, using social media and using their blog.
Absolutely.
To promote things.
Yeah.
But have you ever thought about it?
Yeah.
In terms of promoting a book?
In terms of a book, yeah.
Tell us about it in the comments.
Let us know what you've done, what's worked for you.
Yeah. And what hasn't worked.
Yeah, exactly. We can all learn from each other.
Absolutely. All right, so we're going to take a quick break.
Okay.
And when we come back, we'll talk about
more about this process.
More about the details.
Of turning your blog into a book.
Sounds good. So we were talking about marketing before the break. And I think it's interesting how, marketing used to be something that happened like after the book was written.
Right.
But now it's like
part of the process.
Part of the process from the beginning.
Yeah.
But before we get too deep into that, let's back up a little bit.
Okay.
And talk about something that's really important.
Okay.
But often overlooked.
Okay, what's that?
Formatting.
Formatting.
Yeah.
It's like one of those things that...
It can be a little dry.
Yeah.
But it's super important.
It is. I've definitely picked up a book and been like, oh, this looks really unprofessional.
It makes a difference.
Yeah.
Like whether you're self-publishing or going the traditional route, you want your manuscript to look good.
So what do we need to know about formatting?
Well, the guide emphasizes consistency. So like using the same fonts and headings throughout, making sure your page numbers are correct.
Okay.
Having a clear table of contents.
Right.
All those little details.
Add up.
They really do. It makes a huge difference for the reader, you know?
Yeah, if it's all over the place, it's like...
It's distracting.
Yeah.
It takes away from the content.
So they're saying basically like just make it easy for people to read.
Exactly. Make it easy to read. Make it look professional.
And then they even talk about like hiring an editor and a formatter.
Yeah, if you really want to take it to the next level.
Okay, what do you think about that?
I mean, it depends on your budget and your skill set.
Right.
If you're really confident in your formatting skills, you might be able to do it yourself.
But if not?
It's probably worth the investment.
Because?
Because a good editor can catch those little errors that we all miss.
Yeah.
And a professional formatter can make sure that your book looks polished and consistent.
It's like having a second set of eyes.
Exactly.
Okay. So we've got the formatting down.
Right.
What about the cover?
The cover.
That's the first thing people see.
It is. And it's so important.
It's huge.
It can make or break your book.
Really?
Absolutely. A captivating cover can be the difference between someone picking up your book or just scrolling right past it.
So what are they saying about covers?
They're saying invest in a high-quality cover that reflects the theme of your book and your target audience.
It's got to be good.
It's got to be good. It's more than just aesthetics, though.
Okay.
It's a marketing tool.
Oh, okay.
The colors, the fonts, the imagery, it all works together to convey the essence of your book.
It's like visual storytelling.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's say you've written the book. You've got it formatted. It looks beautiful. And you've got an amazing cover.
Yeah.
What's next?
Well, now it's time to unleash your book into the world. Drum roll, please.
Okay. Right, marketing.
Marketing.
We talked about this a little bit.
We talked about how bloggers have a built-in audience.
Right, so we're ahead of the game.
You're ahead of the game, yeah.
So what are some of the ways we can use that to our advantage?
Well, the guide talks about using your blog to announce the book, offering pre-order incentives, sharing behind-the-scenes glimpses of your writing process.
Right.
Really building that buzz.
Yeah, and we talked about social media too.
Social media is huge.
What about you? What have you found that's effective for social media?
Oh, man, there's so much you can do.
Yeah.
But one thing that I've found really works is creating engaging content.
Okay.
Like asking questions, starting conversations.
So it's not just about like...
broadcasting.
Yeah, broadcasting your message.
Yeah, it's about getting people involved.
Right.
Making it a two-way street.
And what about email marketing?
Oh, email marketing is huge.
Yeah.
It's so important to build an email list and nurture those relationships.
So you can share updates and stuff?
Yeah, you can share updates, offer exclusive content, really build that sense of community around your book.
I've heard a lot of authors say that email is like their most valuable marketing tool.
It's powerful.
Yeah.
It really is.
So we've gone through, pretty much the whole process from blog to book.
Yeah, we've covered a lot of ground.
Like, assessing whether your blog even has that potential.
Right.
Creating the outline, adding new material, designing a great cover, all the different ways to publish, and then, of course, marketing.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a whole journey.
It is. But this guide from Mothlala really lays it all out there.
It does. It makes it seem much less daunting.
It does. And, it's inspiring, too.
It is.
But, we've talked about the how. Like how to do all these things.
Yeah, the practical steps.
But what about the why?
The why. That's a good question.
Like, why even bother?
Right. It's got to be more than just checking something off a list.
Exactly. Like, what's driving this?
Yeah, it's about passion.
Yeah.
Having something to say, something you want to share with the world.
It's like you've got this one idea, this burning passion.
Yeah.
And you want to get it out there.
And a book can be a really powerful way to do that.
Yeah. For bloggers, I think a lot of times a book feels like that natural next step.
Right. You've been building this platform, you've been connecting with readers.
Yeah.
But maybe you want to go deeper.
Right. And there's something about a book that's different than just like a blog post or a social media post.
It's tangible. It's something you can hold in your hands.
You can share it with people.
It's a legacy.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, it's about leaving your mark on the world.
It is.
And so I guess the question for our listeners is,
yeah,
what is that one idea that's burning inside of you?
That you want to turn into a book.
What's that story that you want to tell? Tell us about it in the comments.
Let's hear it.
I want to know what books are brewing out there.
Yeah, we can all inspire each other.
And, the journey from blog to book, it's not always easy.
No, it's going to be challenging.
Yeah. But it's so rewarding.
It really is.
So if you have that dream, just go for it.
Yeah, take that leap of faith.
And we're here to support you every step of the way.
Absolutely.
That's it for this deep dive.
Thanks for joining us.
We'll see you next time. All right, deep divers, get your gear ready because we're going deep on book launches today. Specifically, we're looking at how pre-orders can make or break your success.
Absolutely. We're going beyond the basics.
We're dissecting a fantastic piece from Malala Media Publications called How to Use Pre-Orders to Boost Your Book's Launch Success. Trust me, you'll want to take notes.
If you're even thinking about publishing, this could be your secret weapon.
No doubt about it. So let's jump right in. Why are pre-orders so crucial? What's the big deal?
Well, think of it like this. You know how a rocket needs fuel for a successful launch?
Yeah, got to get that thrust.
Exactly. Pre-orders are that initial thrust. They build momentum, show the market you're the weight.
So it's more than just those early sales.
Oh, for sure. Think about it. It's a vote of confidence. Early numbers can boost you onto bestseller lists, attract media, even influence those tricky algorithms on platforms like Amazon.
It's a chain reaction, really.
Precisely. A chain reaction for success.
Now, I know Amazon KDP lets you set up pre-orders, but are there other platforms authors should consider?
Definitely. Don't limit yourself. Places like Draft2 Digital can get your book into a wider range of retailers. You know, Barnes & Noble, Kobo, Apple Books.
Expanding your reach?
Exactly. You're tapping into different reader demographics, reaching a wider audience.
Smart move. So you've chosen your platforms, right? How do you make your book irresistible, especially to someone browsing months before the release date?
Your book listing, it's like your storefront window. It needs to be captivating.
Got to draw those readers in.
A killer hook, a strong cover image, a clear message of what makes your book unique.
What's that one thing readers will take away? What problem does it solve?
Exactly. You're crafting a narrative. Think about it. What would make you click that pre-order button?
That's a great question for our listeners. Have you ever pre-ordered a book based solely on its listing? Let us know. What hooked you?
We'd love to hear your experiences. And hey, to really entice those early birds, think about pre-order bonuses. Sweeten the deal.
Oh, I love bonuses. Spill the tea. What kind of bonuses really work?
Think exclusive content, early chapters, bonus scenes, even author commentary. Behind-the-scenes peeks, character sketches, deleted scenes.
Oh, that's cool. It's like getting a VIP pass.
You got it. It makes readers feel like they're part of something special.
But what about nonfiction books? Are there bonus strategies that work particularly well for those?
Absolutely. Downloadable workbooks, templates, checklists, even live Q&A sessions or webinars. Create an experience beyond the book itself.
It's like you're not just reading a book, you're joining a community.
That's the idea, fostering a connection before they even open the book.
I'm hooked. All right, so we have enticing listings and irresistible bonuses. But how do you get the word out? How do you get those pre-orders rolling in?
Your marketing plan. And social media, that's your megaphone, sneak peeks of the cover, teasing those bonuses, countdown timers to create urgency.
Oh yeah, those countdown timers. Don't miss out, this offer's ending soon.
Right, it taps into that fear of missing out, encourages action. And remember, engage. Ask questions, respond to comments, run contests, or giveaways.
Build that excitement. So what are some creative social media campaigns you've seen that really stand out?
Well, I saw this author, they created a series of short videos. Each one revealed a little bit of the book cover, like puzzle pieces.
Clever.
It created so much buzz. People were commenting, sharing, tagging friends. Organic engagement at its best.
It's about creating a story, a journey that keeps people coming back. What about you, listeners? Have you seen any clever pre-order campaigns? Share your thoughts in the comments.
We love hearing your insights.
So social media, it's a powerful tool, but it's not the only one, right?
Definitely not. Email marketing can be incredibly effective. This is where segmentation comes in, tailoring your message to different groups based on their interests.
So not just blasting a generic email to everyone.
Right. Maybe your super fans get behind-the-scenes glimpses, while new readers get a special welcome discount on their first pre-order.
It's like a personalized invitation. I've totally pre-ordered a book or two from a well-crafted email from an author I love.
You get it. It's about that community feeling.
Speaking of community, what about collaborating with other authors or influencers in your genre?
Collaborations are gold. Guest blog posts, joint interviews, social media takeovers, anything that gets you in front of new audiences who already trust your partner.
It's like borrowing credibility?
Yeah.
Have you ever collaborated with other authors? What was that like?
I recently did a multi-author giveaway. We each offered a signed copy of our latest books. It was a great way to cross-promote, and we saw a huge spike in pre-orders.
Synergy. Combining forces. What about you, listeners? Any collaboration stories? Share them in the comments.
They love to hear about your successes.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground here. Compelling listings, enticing bonuses, spreading the word through social media, email, and collaborations. Pre-orders aren't just about sales, are they?
Absolutely not. They're the foundation for long-term success.
Building your credibility, connecting with your audience, generating that buzz that can launch your book to new heights.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
But the journey doesn't end there, does it? What happens after you hit that publish button? How do you turn those pre-orders into lasting success? Stay tuned for part 2 of our deep dive. We'll be right back.
All right, welcome back, deep divers. I hope you're ready to dive into some data, because today we're talking about measuring the success of your pre-order campaign.
Ooh, data. I love data. I'm all about those data-driven decisions.
Right. But I get it. Analytics can be a little overwhelming, especially for authors who, might be more comfortable with words than spreadsheets.
It can feel a bit intimidating sometimes, yeah.
But think of it this way. Analytics, they're like a treasure map, guiding you to the best strategies.
Okay, I like that, a treasure map. So what are the key metrics we should be tracking, to make sure our pre-order campaign is on point?
Well, first and foremost, keep a close eye on those pre-order numbers.
Makes sense. That's the big one, right?
Exactly. It's your baseline, shows you the direct impact of your marketing efforts.
So if those numbers are climbing, you're doing something right. But how do you know what's driving those pre-orders?
That's where tracking your traffic comes in.
So like where are people coming from?
Exactly. Are they clicking from your social media posts? Are your email blasts converting into buyers? You got to know what's working, what needs tweaking.
Connecting the dots, seeing how people go from, hey, what's this book, to click pre-order.
You got it. And here's where it gets really interesting, conversion rates.
Okay, tell me more about those.
This tells you how well you're turning those views and clicks into actual pre-orders.
So it's not enough just to get people to see your book. You got to get them to take action.
Exactly. If you have tons of traffic but low conversion, maybe you need to revisit your message or your calls to action.
Like, is it easy to pre-order? Is the value of the book clear?
All those things. Now, full disclosure, I'm a bit of a spreadsheet nerd.
Oh, me too. I love a good spreadsheet.
Right. But not everyone's like us. Any advice for authors who might feel, well, a little intimidated by all this data?
Good question, because it can feel like a lot.
It can. But there are tons of tools out there that simplify things.
Oh, good. Like what?
Well, Canva, for example, it has built-in analytics for social media.
Oh, yeah, I love Canva.
And email platforms like MailChimp, they give you detailed reports on open rates, click-throughs, conversions.
So you don't need to be a data scientist to figure this stuff out.
Not at all. Find the tools that work for you and focus on those key insights.
The things that actually tell you something, right?
Right.
And it's cool because you can experiment.
Exactly.
You might think one campaign will be a hit, but the data might tell a different story.
It's all about adapting and adjusting based on real feedback.
Data-driven decisions. Now let's shift gears a bit. Let's talk about the human side of pre-orders.
Okay, I like it.
Those early supporters, the ones who believe in your work and hit that pre-order button, they deserve some love, don't they?
Absolutely. A simple thank you email after launch. It goes such a long way in building loyalty.
It's like, hey, thanks for taking a chance on me.
Exactly. And you can take it further. Offer exclusive content to those who pre-ordered, maybe a deleted scene, a bonus chapter, even a sneak peek at your next project.
It's like a little reward for their early support.
Exactly. Make them feel like VIPs, you know? And personalize it. Even a thank you for your support on social media can make someone...
Building those connections one interaction at a time.
That's it. So what are some other ways authors can keep that momentum going after launch?
Well, I was thinking about online events like Q&A sessions, virtual book clubs, maybe even writing workshops.
I love those.
It's a chance to actually interact, answer questions, get feedback.
Creating a dialogue. And don't forget reviews. Encourage your readers to leave honest reviews on Amazon, Goodreads.
Oh yeah, those are crucial.
Positive reviews, they can be so influential, especially for new readers discovering your book.
It's social proof, right? Like, hey, other people love this book, maybe I will too.
Exactly. And remember, it's not just about those 5-star reviews. Constructive criticism is valuable too.
It's how you grow, right? You learn from every experience.
Absolutely. What about you, listeners? Have you ever left a review for a book that really resonated with you? What made you do it? Share your thoughts in the comments.
We're always eager to hear your stories.
We learn so much from your experiences. So as we wrap up this part on analytics and engagement, I want to emphasize this is ongoing.
It's not just a one-time thing.
Nope. It's not just about tracking during pre-orders. It's about carrying these principles forward, throughout your whole author journey.
Building a sustainable career, not just focusing on the short term.
Exactly. Use the data, engage with your readers, keep refining your approach.
And that's something we can all do, whether we're seasoned authors or just starting out.
Now, in part 3 of our deep dive, we're going to explore the crucial steps you can take after your book launches to keep that momentum going, to build lasting success. So stick around. We'll be right back.
All right, bookworms, welcome back. We're in the final stretch of our deep dive into pre-orders. And I gotta say, my brain is buzzing with ideas. I'm ready to revamp my whole launch strategy.
I love it. That's what we want. But remember, it doesn't end when your book goes live.
Right. It's just the beginning.
Exactly. So what are the key things authors should do after launch to make sure those pre-orders turn into lasting success?
Yeah, how do we keep that momentum going?
Think of it like this. You've spent all this time, weeks, months even, building excitement, creating a community around your book.
Getting everyone hyped.
Right. Now it's time to nurture that connection, keep those readers engaged.
So how do we do that?
Well, start with gratitude. Those who pre-ordered, they believed in you before anyone else.
Took a chance on you.
Exactly. A genuine thank you email can make a huge difference in building that loyalty.
It shows you care.
And remember, actions speak louder than words. Offer something exclusive to those who pre-ordered, a deleted scene, a bonus chapter, maybe a sneak peek at your next project.
Ooh, I love sneak peeks. It's like a little reward for being an early supporter.
Exactly. Make them feel special and personalize it. A simple thank you for your support on social media can make someone's day.
It's all about those connections, right?
That's it. Building relationships one interaction at a time.
So what else can we do to keep that post-launch energy going?
Well, online events are fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Like what? Q&A sessions, virtual book clubs, writing workshops.
Oh, cool.
It's a chance to interact directly with your readers, answer questions, get feedback.
You're creating a two-way street of conversation.
I love that.
Huh?
And don't underestimate the power of reviews. Encourage your readers to leave honest reviews on Amazon, Goodreads, those places.
Reviews are so important.
They really are. Positive reviews can be incredibly influential, especially for new readers who are just discovering your work.
They're like, should I read this? Oh, look, everyone else loved it.
Exactly. And remember, it's not just about the 5-star reviews. Constructive criticism can be valuable too.
It helps you grow as an author.
For sure. What about you, listeners? Have you ever left a review for a book that really resonated with you? What made you do it? Tell us about it in the comments.
We love hearing your stories.
We learned so much from your experiences. Okay, as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to come back to something we've touched on throughout this whole conversation.
What's that?
Pre-orders, they're about so much more than just sales numbers.
They're about building a community, right?
Exactly. It's about fostering a connection, creating an experience that goes beyond the book itself.
It's about building a tribe of readers who are excited about your work and want to come along for the ride.
Beautifully said. And that's what I really want you to take away from this. Pre-orders, they're a powerful tool, but their real power is in creating lasting connections and building a foundation for success that lasts.
So it's not just about launching a book, it's about launching a career, a community, a legacy.
You nailed it.
Wow, we covered a lot of ground today. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling super inspired, ready to put all these amazing tips into action.
That's fantastic. And remember, this is just the beginning. There's always more to learn, more to explore, more to create.
So keep diving deep, keep experimenting, keep those creative sparks flying. Until next time, happy writing, happy reading.
See you soon.
All right, so we're diving into something pretty exciting today. Turning your passion, not just into a book, but into a whole series.
Yeah.
And we're basing this deep dive on this awesome guide, how to turn your passion into a profitable book series.
Yeah.
And, it's got some seriously valuable insights, even if you're, not necessarily an aspiring author.
Oh, absolutely. It's packed with advice on everything from finding your niche to building a loyal fan base and even diversifying beyond just the traditional, book format.
Yeah. So first things first, finding that sweet spot,
Yeah.
Where your passion meets market demand.
Yeah.
The guide mentioned some popular examples like self-help, sci-fi and romance. But ultimately, it's about finding what truly excites you.
Right.
And what readers are actually looking for. What's your take on this? Have you ever spotted a gap in the market that you'd love to read?
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments.
Yeah. So I think that's such a great point. The guide really emphasizes the importance of, it's not enough to just be passionate about something. You have to understand the existing landscape. Like, are there already tons of books on that topic?
Right.
Is there a unique angle you can bring?
Yeah.
That research can be the difference between a successful series and one that just kind of gets lost.
Absolutely. So let's say you've done your research, you found your niche. Now it's time to, build a series concept that will hook readers from book one. And the guide talks about the importance of consistent themes and relatable characters, especially, for fiction. Think of it like your favorite TV show, right?
Yeah.
You keep coming back for the characters, A&D, the overarching storyline.
Exactly. The guide actually uses the example of a mystery series. Each book might feature a new case.
Right.
But the detective's personality, their quirks, their relationships, those are the things that keep readers invested.
Yeah.
In the long haul. And then for nonfiction, it's about creating a series where each book kind of builds upon the last, offering a new layer of insight or perspective on the central theme.
Here's where things get really interesting. The guide delves into the power of cliffhangers. And they talk about strategically placing them to keep readers on the edge of their seats, desperate for the next installment.
Yeah.
Think about a book that really kept you hooked. What was it about the ending that left you wanting more? Share your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear your examples.
Yeah, what's fascinating here is the guide. It like breaks down the anatomy of an effective cliffhanger. Like it's not just about ending on a suspenseful note.
Right.
It's about raising new questions, introducing new threats, or like leaving the reader with this sense of unease, right? They use the example of the Hunger Games trilogy.
Oh, good one. Yeah.
Each book ends with Katniss facing like a seemingly insurmountable obstacle. So you have to pick up the next book.
We have to, yeah.
To see how she's going to survive.
Exactly. And speaking of keeping readers engaged, the guide also talks about interweaving storylines, especially for nonfiction series. Each book might tackle a different aspect of the main theme, but they're all, interconnected, creating this satisfying sense of a larger narrative unfolding.
It's like piecing together a puzzle, where each book reveals a new piece of the bigger picture.
Oh, I like that.
They give the example of like a series on personal finance.
Okay.
One book might focus on budgeting, another on investing, another on retirement planning. Each book can stand alone, but together they form this comprehensive guide.
Yeah, I see. Okay, so we've got our killer concept. We've hooked our readers with cliffhangers and interwoven storylines. And now it's time to get down to the nitty-gritty, like the planning and the writing. And, the guide is all about outlining, setting realistic deadlines, and breaking the project into manageable chunks. It even suggests using, project management tools like Trello or Scrivener, which is a fantastic tip for ANY project, not just writing.
Absolutely. Whether you're writing a novel or planning a home renovation, having a clear roadmap and breaking it down into smaller steps can make a really daunting task feel much more manageable. What's your approach to tackling big projects? Do you map everything out in detail?
I try to. I'm a big planner.
Okay, yeah.
So I try to.
Some people like to be more flexible. Let us know your thoughts in the comments.
All right, so we've got our plan. Now it's time to think about, how are we going to present this series to the world? That's where visual branding comes in. It's about creating a cohesive look and feel for the series, from the cover design to the typography to, the overall vibe.
It's about grabbing attention, making your book stand out, whether it's on a shelf or, in an online marketplace. So think about it. When you're browsing for a new book, what draws you in? Is it the color scheme, the font, the imagery? All of those elements, they contribute to a book's visual branding. In this guide, it stresses the importance of consistency, across the whole series.
So let's break down what visual branding actually means. We're talking about professional cover design.
Yeah.
Using high-quality images, choosing a font that reflects the tone and genre. It's about creating a visual identity that's both, appealing to your target audience.
Right.
And instantly recognizable.
Yeah, they give a great example of a fantasy series. Imagine like covers with rich, jewel-toned colors, intricate illustrations, and a font that like evokes a sense of magic and adventure. All those elements work together.
And that brings us to the sometimes intimidating world of SEO, search engine optimization. Now, I know that sounds technical, but the guide breaks it down in a way that's pretty easy to understand. It's all about using keywords, categories, compelling descriptions to help your books get discovered online.
Exactly. Think about it. When you're searching for a book online, what do you type into that search bar?
Yeah.
Are you looking for specific topics, authors, genres? Those are keywords.
Oh.
And the guide really emphasizes using those relevant keywords in your book's title, description, and even in the categories that you choose when you're publishing.
So it's like strategically planting little digital breadcrumbs that lead readers right to your amazing series. But have you ever thought about how you discover new books? Do you actively search? Or do you browse categories? Maybe you rely on recommendations from friends or influencers. Share your process in the comments. We're genuinely curious.
Yeah. So we left off talking about SEO, right? Using those keywords to make sure your books are, discoverable online. It's great to write an awesome series, but it won't gain any traction if no one can find it.
Right, totally. But let's say readers HEV found your book, maybe through that perfect keyword search, or a friend recommended it. How do we turn those readers into loyal fans who eagerly await each new installment?
Well, I think that's where the real magic happens, right? The guide really emphasizes the importance of nurturing those relationships with your readers, going beyond just, publishing the book. So think newsletters, social media engagement, even creating online reader groups or forums.
Oh, I love that. Building a community around your series.
Exactly.
Yeah, the guide even suggests offering exclusive content or behind-the-scenes glimpses to make those fans feel like they're part of something special. What kind of author interaction would would make you feel more connected to a series? Let us know in the comments.
Yeah, because building that connection can make all the difference. Now, each new book in a series is a big event. You can't just release it into the world and hope for the best. The guide digs into some really savvy marketing strategies to build buzz and drive sales.
Like pre-orders.
Yes.
I always get so excited when I get a pre-order book that I'm anticipating.
Yeah.
Do you think pre-orders are genuinely effective in building that anticipation and driving those early sales?
I think they can be incredibly effective when they're done right. It's a way for readers to kind of show their commitment to the series, secure their copy as soon as it's released. The guide also mentions bundling as a clever tactic.
Oh, yeah.
Offering the chance to purchase the entire series at a discounted price.
Bundles are dangerous for my wallet.
I know.
But they're brilliant for boosting sales, introducing new readers to those earlier books.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're creating this irresistible package. And speaking of reaching new audiences, the guide also suggests collaborating with bloggers and influencers to spread the word.
Yeah, collaborations can be incredibly powerful. Imagine your favorite book blogger, raving about your series to their followers. That's huge.
That's huge, yeah.
But you have to be strategic about those partnerships. The guide really emphasizes finding influencers whose audience aligns with your target demographic. It's about reaching the right readers, not just the most readers.
Right. Speaking of reaching the right readers, have you ever been swayed by a book recommendation from an influencer or blogger? Let us know in the comments.
Yeah, for sure.
We're always fascinated to hear how people discover new books.
I know I have. A good recommendation can make all the difference. But
yeah.
Let's shift gears for a moment. We've been talking a lot about, the traditional book format. But this guide gets really exciting when it starts exploring ways to diversify your series beyond just the printed page.
Yeah, beyond the book.
Exactly.
Think audiobooks, merchandise, even courses and workshops. It's about taking your passion and expanding it into new, innovative formats. What are your thoughts on audiobooks? Do you think they enhance the reading experience, or are they a completely separate form of entertainment?
Oh, that's such a great question. Audiobooks have exploded in popularity in recent years, and for good reason. They, make books accessible to people who might not have the time to sit down and read.
Right.
And they can add a whole new dimension to the story, with narration and sound effects.
Right. The guide uses the example of a thriller series.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine listening to those suspenseful scenes with a heart-pounding soundtrack.
Yeah.
It just takes the experience to a whole new level.
Totally. And then there's merchandise. I'm a sucker for a good book-themed mug or T-shirt.
No.
The guide talks about the potential of merchandise, especially for, fiction series. Imagine having T-shirts with your favorite character quotes or mugs with the series logo. It's a fun way for fans to show their love and, generate a little additional revenue.
Absolutely. It's about creating a whole world around your series. And the guide, it encourages authors to think even bigger. What about courses?
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Or workshops? Based on the content of your series. If you've written, a self-improvement series, why not offer a workshop to help readers put those principles into practice? Oh, that's a fantastic idea. It's taking your expertise, to the next level.
Yeah.
Creating that deeper connection with your audience. If you were creating a series, what unique extras would you offer to your readers? Let us know. Let us know your creative ideas in the comments.
Yeah, I think that's a great question to ponder, as we move into the final part of our deep dive. We've covered a lot of ground, from identifying your niche, crafting that compelling series concept to, marketing those books and exploring new avenues beyond the traditional format.
We've explored, the journey of turning your passion into a profitable series. So tune for part 3, where we'll wrap up with some key takeaways and leave you with a final thought-provoking question. Welcome back to the final part of our deep dive. Turning your passion into a profitable book series. We've covered so much, from the initial spark of an idea, crafting a compelling series, marketing it effectively. We even touched upon those exciting ways to expand beyond the book itself.
Yeah, it's been a fascinating journey, hasn't it? What really stood out to me throughout this guide is the emphasis on not just creating, but building a sustainable business around your passion. It's about, approaching your creative work with both enthusiasm and a strategic mindset.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's not just about writing a good book, right? It's about understanding your audience. building those relationships with readers and offering them, real value that goes beyond just the words on the page.
And this guide, it repeatedly highlights the importance of, planning, research, and understanding the market. It's about finding that sweet spot where, your passion intersects with what readers are actually looking for.
Yeah, and what I found really interesting too is how, it encourages us to think outside the box. Explore those unconventional avenues like we talked about, audiobooks, merchandise, even workshops or online courses. It's about finding creative ways to engage your audience, share your passion on a deeper level.
And what I find truly inspiring is that these principles, they can be applied to any project where you're looking to share your passion with the world. It might not be a book series. It could be a podcast, a blog, an online community, or even, a small business built around your unique skills and interests.
Yeah. It's about identifying that spark of inspiration and then channeling your energy and creativity into making it a reality, taking those initial steps, doing the research, connecting with your audience, and finding those innovative ways to share your passion.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, we want to leave you with one final thought-provoking question. What passion are you ready to turn into something amazing? What impact do you want to make on the world?
We'd love to hear your dreams, your aspirations, your ideas down in the comments. Who knows, maybe the next time we do a deep dive, it'll be inspired by one of your incredible ideas.
Keep learning, keep creating, and never stop sharing your passion with the world. Thanks for joining us.
See you next time. All right, so have you ever had like this amazing book idea?
Yeah.
Like just brewing in your mind?
Oh, yeah.
But then the thought of like actually sitting down and writing the whole thing?
It can be.
It's a little
Good
daunting.
feeling.
Yeah. So that's what we're going to be looking at today in this deep dive.
Okay.
We are checking out how to write a book in 7 days without overwhelming yourself.
All right.
Now, I know what you might be thinking.
7 days.
7 days, right?
It's not even possible.
A lot of people think that.
Yeah, and you know what?
It's a bold claim.
It is a bold claim.
It is.
But even if you're not trying to, break some kind of land speed record for book writing, I think there are actually some really, really practical tips in the source that we can all use.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. So let's jump right in.
Okay.
Day 1 is all about planning.
Planning.
Which, it might be tempting to just dive right into the writing.
Right, to get going.
Get those words.
Get it out. But the source really, really emphasizes the importance of taking the time to plan first. Had you found that to be true in your writing process?
Oh, absolutely. Without a plan, you can get lost really easily. I always think of it like setting off on a road trip, but you don't have a map and you don't even know where you're going.
Right.
You might end up somewhere interesting, but it's probably going to take you a lot longer and...
Yeah, you're going to waste a lot of gas.
You're going to waste a lot of gas. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so let's break it down then in terms of book writing. What are some essential elements of a solid plan?
Well, first off, you have to figure out who you're writing this book for.
Okay.
What are their interests, their needs? What are they hoping to get out of this book?
So your target audience, basically.
Your target audience, exactly.
Okay.
And then you have to get clear on what your main point is.
Yeah.
What's the core message that you want your readers to take away?
Okay.
Once you have those two things, then you can start outlining the structure of the book and mapping out the chapters.
Okay, so this actually makes me think of something that I struggle with sometimes.
What's that?
I feel like I have too many ideas.
Okay.
And I don't know which ones to focus on.
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever run into that kind of creative overwhelm?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I think a lot of creative people deal with that.
Yeah.
One thing I do is just brainstorm all my ideas, and then I try to group them into themes or categories.
Okay.
That helps me see the bigger picture, and then I can see which ideas are the strongest and which ones I should maybe save for a different project.
That's a really cool tip.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
And, it kind of reminds me of that whole kill your darlings advice.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes you got to let go of an idea, even if you're really attached to it.
Exactly. And sometimes, those darlings can live on in a different project.
Right.
You're not getting rid of them for good.
Right. It's just not the right time or the right place for this particular project.
Exactly.
Okay, so for all you listeners out there, I want to hear from you. What's a book that you would love to write?
Oh, yeah.
And who would be like your ideal reader for that book?
Good question.
Yeah, tell us in the comments below. We love hearing about all the creative projects that you guys are working on.
It's so inspiring.
Okay, so moving on to day 2.
Right.
The source is all about setting realistic goals.
Okay.
What's your take on that?
I think it's crucial for any big project, and especially something like writing a book. You know, if you set unrealistic expectations, you're just setting yourself up for disappointment.
Totally. I think that happens to me a lot, actually.
Yeah.
Okay, so how do we avoid that then?
Well, I think it's all about breaking down that big goal into smaller, more manageable steps.
Okay.
The source talks about like setting daily word counts.
Okay.
Or maybe you dedicate a certain amount of time to writing each day. Have you tried those?
I have. I've done the daily word count thing, and I find that it really, really helps me to stay consistent. Because even if I can only get like 500 words in a day, it's still something.
It's still moving forward.
And it makes me feel like I'm making progress.
Yeah, I totally get that.
What about you? Do you have any like tips for setting realistic writing goals?
For me, it's more about time blocking.
Okay.
Like I'll actually block out time in my calendar, like it's an important meeting.
Yeah.
And that helps me make sure that I'm actually prioritizing the writing.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
And I think it's so interesting how, we both have different approaches.
Yeah.
But ultimately, it's about finding what works for you.
Absolutely.
Right. So for all of you listening out there, have you faced a similar situation in your own work?
Yeah, let us know.
How do you break down large tasks?
Tell us in the comments.
Yeah. We want to hear from you.
Right.
All right. So we've talked about planning. We've talked about goal setting. But day 3 brings us something new and I think pretty interesting.
Oh, what's that?
It's tools and resources.
Tool.
Yes. What's your take on using tools to help with your writing?
I think especially with the rise of AI writing tools these days, it's a really interesting conversation to be having.
Yeah, and I think some writers might feel a little hesitant about it.
Yeah.
Like, is it cheating to use AI
to
help you write?
Exactly.
But personally, I find that they can be really helpful.
I agree. It's all about shifting your perspective.
Oh, wow.
And thinking of these tools as assistants.
Yeah.
Not replacements for you as the writer.
Absolutely. I think that's because they can help us with things like grammar. They can help us come up with ideas. They can even help us structure our writing.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's still our voice and our ideas that are driving the whole process.
Exactly.
Okay, so the source specifically mentions a couple of tools.
Oh, which ones?
Scrivener.
Okay.
And Microsoft Word.
Those are classics.
Yeah, and I think both of them can be super helpful for like organizing your thoughts.
Right.
Managing all your revisions and ultimately just like getting your book ready to go.
Yeah, totally. And, they don't have to be like fancy or expensive either. Even just using like a note-taking app or some mind mapping software can be really helpful.
Totally. Okay, so this brings us to day 4, which is all about time management.
Time management.
The source says it's really important to dedicate consistent time to writing, even if it's just for like an hour a day.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
I think consistency is so much more important than trying to like cram a whole bunch of writing into one day.
Right.
It's much better to do a little bit each day.
Yes, like working out or learning a new language.
Totally.
Those short, consistent bursts of effort, they really add up.
They do.
Over time.
Much more so than like those big marathon sessions.
And it's not just about the quantity of time.
Right.
It's also about the quality of time. So the source also talks about like creating a dedicated writing space.
Okay.
That's free from distractions.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I think that's so important because it's so easy to get distracted these days.
Oh my gosh, yes.
With our phones and our computers, it's like there's always something vying for our attention.
Exactly. And I think having that dedicated space, even if it's just like a corner in your house or a certain coffee shop that you like to go to, it just helps your brain to kind of switch into that writing mode.
It signals it's time to focus.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So tell us, listeners. What does your ideal writing environment look like?
Yeah. Where do you go to get those creative juices flowing?
Share in the comments.
Yeah. All right. Day 5 is about finding the balance between writing and editing.
Ooh, that's a tough one.
It is.
And the source says, don't try to be perfect in the first draft.
Oh, the first draft?
What about that?
I think that's really good advice because It's so easy to get caught up in editing every sentence as you go.
Yes.
But that can really slow you down and kill your momentum.
Yeah, I feel like if I try to edit as I go,
Yeah.
I just end up second-guessing myself, and I'm like,
Right.
ugh, this is terrible.
And you lose that flow.
I totally lose the flow.
Yeah.
So is it better to just, like, ignore all the typos and the grammar mistakes?
I think it depends on the writer.
Okay.
Some people really need to get everything perfect before they can move on.
Right.
Other people are more comfortable just like getting the ideas out there and then going back and cleaning things up later.
So it's really about, like, knowing yourself.
Exactly.
And how you work best.
Self-awareness.
Okay, so listeners,
Yeah.
what's your approach to editing?
Do you like to clean up as you go?
Or do you save it all for the end?
Tell us in the comments.
Yeah, we want to know.
Okay, so moving on to day 6.
Okay.
This is all about reviewing and revising and getting feedback from other people.
Feedback?
Yes. Why do you think feedback is so important?
I think it's so valuable to get an outside perspective on your work.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you're the one writing it, you're just so close to it.
Yeah, you're too close to it.
You can't see it objectively.
Right, and someone else can come in with fresh eyes.
Right.
And point out things that you might have missed.
Yeah, like maybe there are parts that are confusing, or maybe you need to clarify certain things.
Exactly.
Have you ever received feedback that, like, totally changed the direction of a project?
Oh, absolutely. Earlier in my writing career, I got some feedback on a manuscript that was really tough to hear.
Okay.
But it made the book so much better.
Wow.
Yeah, it made me realize that I needed to, let go of my ego a little bit and be open to hearing what other people had to say.
Yeah, I think that's such a good lesson for all of us.
Yeah.
It's so easy to get defensive when someone criticizes our work.
Right.
But we have to remember that feedback is a gift.
It is.
Even when it's hard to hear.
Yeah, and I think it's also important to be thoughtful about who you're getting feedback from.
Okay.
You want to choose people who are knowledgeable and supportive.
Right, the people that you trust.
Yes, people who are going to give you honest feedback.
Yeah, and I think it's also helpful to get feedback from a variety of people.
Right.
Like people who have different backgrounds and perspectives.
Yeah, that can give you a more well-rounded view.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, so listeners, we want to hear from you.
Have you ever gotten feedback
That, like, totally improved your writing?
that made you think about things in a new way?
Tell us about it in the comments.
It's really fascinating to see how different people react to the same piece of writing.
Yeah, and speaking of connecting with readers, that brings us to day 7.
Day 7.
Publishing.
Okay.
This can feel like a whole other beast, especially for first-time authors.
It can be daunting, yeah, but it's also like the most exciting part.
Right, because this is where you get to share your work with the world.
Exactly. All that hard work is finally going to pay off.
So let's break down the publishing process a little bit.
Yeah.
What are some key things that listeners should know?
Well, the source talks about formatting cover design and choosing a publishing platform.
Okay, so let's start with formatting. Why is that so important?
Well, think about it. When you pick up a book,
Yeah.
you want it to look good.
Right.
You want it to be easy to read.
Easy to navigate.
Exactly. If the formatting is all messed up, it can be really distracting.
Yeah, it just makes the book look unprofessional.
Right. And it can even make it harder for people to understand what you're trying to say.
It's like the difference between a handwritten note and a professionally printed letter.
Oh, that's a good analogy.
Like the content might be the same, but the presentation just elevates the whole thing.
Totally. All right, so next up we have cover design.
Cover design.
Now they say don't judge a book by its cover.
Right, but we all do it.
But we all do it. The cover is the first thing people see.
It's the first impression.
Exactly. So you want to make sure it's a good one.
So what makes a good book cover?
Well, it needs to be eye-catching, of course.
Okay.
It needs to be relevant to the genre book.
Right.
And it needs to appeal to your target audience.
Yeah, and there are so many talented cover designers out there these days.
There are.
It's amazing to see what they can come up with.
It really is.
All right, so listeners, what about you?
Yeah.
Have you ever book?
Just because of the cover?
Tell us about it in the comments.
Okay, last but not least, we have choosing a